Welcome to Explorations of the Body here at Body Activation, going through our core prep today. Hopefully everybody's ready to go. I've got a band. We might use a little extra tension today. If you don't have a band, don't worry about it. We're going to have a couple different options for you to go through. As we go through this sequence again today, make sure you're really dialing into how one side feels versus another. Okay, so we're gonna hit all our different positions like we normally do, from standing to seated, to sideline, to supine, to prone. Okay, and as we go through each position, just really dial into whether or not one side feels better than the other, or whether or not you have maybe some discomfort from one side to the other, and see whether or not that actually follows through the different positions. So if you're a little limited on one side, does that stay limited in the different orientations of the body that we're going to challenge today? So without further ado, let's go through some lateral flexion today in the spine. And after we're done, we'll put together a few exercises that we can do to maybe either bring back some motion and or bring back some strength. All right. So the first thing we're going to do is stand feet shoulder width apart, hands to the side. We're just going to side bend to the right. As we do this, make sure that the hips aren't moving with the upper body, so it's just the trunk. So we're trying to rotate right around here and just give a little bit of a lateral flex on that side. There we go. It's nice and easy. There's not a ton of motion here, so if you feel like your hand's going way down the side of your leg, you're probably also bending at the hip as well. We just want to bend right through the trunk. It's nice and easy. Good. Let's go to the other side. To the left. Just trying to notice, does one side feel easier than the other? Feel like you can get a little bit further on the left than the right, or vice versa? Just keep in the back of your head as we go through this. Let's get a couple more. Perfect. All right, let's go seated. So the nice thing is I got this little table behind me today because we're shooting some stuff earlier, so I'm not going to even sit on the ground. I'm going to use the table today. All right, so I'm going to sit up nice and tall, hands on the side again, or if you want to put your hands right on your shoulder, you can, or just side bending. Just nice and easy. Again, if you start to feel like you're shifting your weight onto one butt cheek more than the other, you're probably leaning, which isn't a side bend anymore. It's a side bend with some pelvic motion. So make sure that you're really staying nice and tall. Just side bending through the spine. Good. Let's go to the other side. Same thing. Again, did you feel a little more limited one side versus the other? It was a little tougher right to left, standing, and down doesn't feel the same way seated. Maybe it feels a little more limited seated and felt great standing. All options, but just make sure we're really dialing into how this is feeling for us. Perfect. All right, so from here, we're going to go sideline. Okay? So be on our hip here. Hands down the side right here. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to reach down to my side and all the way back. Lift and back. Again, just go to where you feel comfortable. Some people are going to have a little more motion here than others, but you're not going to have a ton. Right? Get a couple more. Perfect. All right. Switch up a little bit. Okay. Hands to the side again. Okay. Lift And right back down. Lift. Back down. Nice and easy. How does this side compare to the other? A little easier, a little tougher, about the same. Just make a mental note. Just making those checklists. One more. Good. And then we'll flip it over on our back. Okay. I'm going to go left side first. So I'm just sliding down, bring it back. Sliding down, bring it back. Nice and easy. One more. Perfect. Then we're going to go to the other side. Okay, so reach. How does this side compare to the other? Feel a little easier, feel a little harder. A couple more of these. Perfect. All right, so let's flip over on our stomach. Over here, hands to the side. We're going to reach down again. And back. Reach down again. Really just trying to side bend right through the spine, not letting our pelvis move. Okay. Again, you're not getting a ton of motion. Okay. And we're just looking to make sure that we have equal motion right to left. Good. The other side. More. Good. All right. Oh, go back to our feet here. All right. So as we went through those positions, hopefully you found, or maybe you found, one side is a little bit tougher than the other. We're going to go through the different positions again, and we're going to do a couple different exercises. And this is going to be the part where you're going to decide what you're going to do. If on the standing, this felt really good, it felt equal both sides, your option is we'll take a band, okay, and here we go. Let's put this up here. If you have a place to put this to where it's a little bit higher, you can, or if you want, just bring it across. Because I have this table here, I'm going to actually stand behind it. It's going to make this a little bit easier for me. Okay. And you can take your band here, and we can hold it right across our chest. And we can drive our side. Okay, so we're just adding a little bit of external load to our side bend. Okay. If you were a little limited right to left, let's say we're limited to the right, I'm going to have you just stand nice and tall, and you're going to slowly side bend, and I want you to think about lightly pushing into side bend. We're going to hold that for about 6 seconds. And relax. Hold it. 6 seconds. And relax. So we're only doing this on the side that didn't feel as good as the other. So if it was right, we're doing it on our right. If it's left, we're doing it left. It felt great. Like I said, you can take your band here and on both sides, okay? We're just going into lateral flexion with a little added resistance. Okay, and we're going to want to hit both sides. All right, let's go back to seated. Seated, same thing. So from here, if I was limited, let's say again, going to the right, I'm gonna come down. I'm gonna very lightly, and if I've got something to sit on, I can actually use my hand and I can give myself a little bit of resistance into a very light side bend and relax and do it again and relax. If both of those sides seem equal to you, then again, kind of grab your band, arms across the chest, and just give yourself a little bit of added resistance with the band and back. So we're just doing reps here. Try to keep that rep range anywhere between 10 and 20, where you feel nice and strong. You feel like you're not getting as much range. You're fatigued, and that means you should probably shut it down, okay? You might actually find as you do this, that one side you're able to get 15 or 16 reps, and the other side you might only get 12 before you start to feel like a little more limited. That's a good thing to understand, that so that now you're seeing whether or not you might be symmetrical in motion, but you might be a little weaker on one side versus the other. So again, your two options: we're doing a light side bend if you were limited to the limited side. If you're not, we're taking the band and we're going through some motion, right, into side bend, but we're only doing as many reps as we can control the full range of motion, okay? Next, sideline, okay? So, got a couple options here. So from here, I can, if I'm limited, this would be my left side, so I'd be going into the left side in here. If I'm limited here, I can come up and I can do a light isometric into side bend here, and then relax and come up and relax. Now, if I want to add a little resistance, and this is going to be easier for me to do on the right side because of where my band's orientated right now, is all I would do is take this here, and now the band is coming from this direction towards my feet, and I go into a side bend. Just like that. Driving side bend, but the band's trying to take me out of side bend. So we're just adding a little external load to that, okay? So let's go over that again, all right? Sideline, on the side that's limited or doesn't feel as good, I'm going into a light isometric, holding it for about 6 seconds. You want to do 5 to 6 good reps here, okay? But if it's not, then on both sides, I want to get that side bend using the band, okay? So, next one, going through supine, all right? So I'm here, and I'm going down to the side. Now, if I'm a little bit limited on my left side, because this is the side that's easier for you to see, I'm just coming down. I'll hold on right here, and ever so slightly, again, I'm thinking about contracting all this in a light isometric into left side bend, okay? And then back. And then a light isometric into side bend. This is only done on the limited side. If both sides felt equal, you can pick your band again, okay? Hands to the side here. Now notice my band is trying to pull me up this direction, okay? And then I'm just gonna reach down, bring it back. So I'm adding a little resistance to my side bend. Just like that. So if you weren't limited, that's your option. Grab your band, go through 10 to 20 reps on each side. Because you weren't limited, you're going to train both sides. The only time we're going to stick with the one side is if one side didn't feel as good as the other, okay? So let's finish up with prone. Prone, feet face down, okay? From here, I'm going to reach down. If I was limited going to the right, I'm going to reach down And I'm going to do a light isometric into right side bend prone, and then relax, and then right side bend prone. And again, I'm going to hit 5 to 6 reps, holding for about 6 seconds. If you weren't limited on either side, you could take your band, okay? And from here, side bend with a little resistance, okay? And again, if you weren't limited, we're hitting both sides, 10 to 20 reps, okay? You might find that one side actually fatigues faster than the other, okay? So as you go through this, I really want you to concentrate on a couple things. One, if we're limited in that motion, we're doing light isometrics into that position, okay? We're holding it for about 6 seconds, do anywhere from 5 to 6 reps, and then move on to the next position. If both sides felt great, they felt very equal, then we're going to add a little resistance to that position, okay? And we're going to do anywhere from 10 to 20 reps. Now, where that's important is making sure that we maintain or we're able to get roughly about the same amount of repetitions per side. So you might actually find that through this process that even though both sides feel very symmetrical, one side might actually be significantly stronger, than the other. That's good to know, okay? So from here, now that we went through a little exercise, let's go back through our range of motion and just see how we feel, okay? So we're gonna start standing again. You can go hands on the side, or if you feel more comfortable, hands on top of the shoulders. And we're just gonna go through lateral flexion of the spine again. Couple more. Good, and we'll go to the other side. Two more. Good. All right, let's go seated. Okay, arms down on the side or up on top of your shoulders, whatever feels more comfortable to you. And down to the side. And we'll switch. Again, making sure that motion's coming from the spine and not from spine and pelvis. Good. All right, let's go sideline. Here. Okay. Couple more, we'll switch sides. Good. We're just comparing to feel a little more loose than it originally did. Does it feel tighter? So did we overdo it with some of the exercise stuff? Good. Let's go to this on our backs. From here, just reaching down. Good. Other side. Good. Let's go face down. Get about 5 reps just to see how it feels. Shouldn't be super fatiguing. Good. Other side. Good. All right. So going back over, we're going to assess the range of motion in all the different positions, right? All I'm looking for is, does one side feel a little better than the other? Does one side move a little bit better than the other? we're taking a mental note of that so that as we go back through, we have a couple options of exercise. Okay. We're going to start with very, very light isometrics into the limited range if you're limited in that specific position. So you might actually be limited in side bend supine, but nowhere else, and that's okay. So if you're not limited anywhere else, then we're going to go through the externally loaded exercise where we're going to then compare both sides to see whether or not our strength is relatively equal or not. Okay. So this is going to tell us a couple different things. So as we continue to go through these things, we can actually go through, and you can go through multiple sets of this and see whether or not you actually continue to feel good, or whether or not you would see the threshold where, oh man, like I went through all these different positions, did it 3 or 4 times, and now I actually feel a little more limited one side versus another. That's totally fine because you can always get that back through some very light isometric work into that limited position. All right. So again, let's make sure that as we're going through these different positions, you're going to get it's almost your choose your own adventure. You're going to get your own option of what you want to do as we go through this. And hopefully as we go through, each and every one of you is going to have a different thing that they're doing, but it's going to be more specific to you. So I hope you enjoyed this evening's pour. Again, this is something that you don't have to just stop with what we did now. You can go back through it a couple of different times. If you did miss it tonight, this will be uploaded to our YouTube channel, Body Activation LLC, so that you can check it out a little bit later. Or if you enjoyed it and you want to go back through it multiple times, that's where you'll find it. Again, guys, thanks for taking the time on a Sunday to go through a little bit of core work. Hope you guys are feeling great. I know that Keith and I are missing you guys here, and hopefully we'll be able to be back together soon. Thanks, Keith.